I am Miller, 32 years old, a construction engineer living in Denver, Colorado. 4 years ago, I met Amanda, the woman I thought I would spend the rest of my life with. We got engaged 8 months ago, and our wedding was just 2 months away. My younger brother Derek, 3 years my junior, had always been my closest friend. Life felt perfect. But lately Amanda seemed tired, always texting late at night. I told myself it was just wedding stress. I had no idea how wrong I was. Before I begin this story, I would love to know where you are watching from today. Drop your location in the comments below. If you enjoy stories about betrayal justice and finding strength in the darkest moments, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. What I discovered 2 months before my wedding day destroyed everything I believed about family and love. To understand the weight of what happened, I need to take you back to when my family first fell apart. My parents divorced when I was 15 years old. Derek was only 12 at the time. Our father moved to another state and slowly disappeared from our lives. Our mother worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table. I watched my little brother struggle with anger, confusion, and abandonment. So I stepped up. I became more than his brother. I became his protector, his mentor, almost like a second father. When Derek wanted to go to college but could not afford it, I had already started working. I paid for his tuition. Every semester I made sure he had enough money for books, rent, and food. When he graduated and could not find a job, I called in favors from my network. I got him an interview at a marketing company downtown. He got hired. I was so proud of him. I thought we would always have each other's backs. 4 years ago, everything changed when I met Amanda at a company party. She worked in interior design, and the moment I saw her across the room, something clicked. She had this warm smile that made everyone around her feel comfortable. We talked for hours that night. Within 6 months, we were living together. Within 3 years, I knew I wanted to marry her. I introduced Amanda to Derek about 2 months after we started dating. They hit it off immediately. Amanda would ask about his life, remember details about his job, and always made sure to include him in our plans. I remember feeling grateful that the 2 most important people in my life got along so well. Looking back now, I should have paid closer attention to just how well they got along. About 4 months before our wedding, Amanda started acting differently. She would wake up looking exhausted even after a full night of sleep. Some mornings I heard her in the bathroom and it sounded like she was getting sick. When I asked if she was okay, she always blamed it on stress. The wedding planning was overwhelming, she said. There were so many decisions to make. I believed her because I wanted to believe her. But then I noticed her phone habits changed. She used to leave her phone anywhere around the apartment screen, facing up, never worried about anything. Now she always placed it face down. When it buzzed, she would grab it, quickly glance at the screen, and sometimes walk into another room to respond. When I asked who she was texting, she said it was the wedding planner, or her mother, or her co-workers. I had no reason to doubt her. Derek started acting strange too. He used to come over to our apartment at least twice a week. We would watch football games, drink beer, and talk about life. But suddenly, he was always too busy. He had a new project at work, he said. His boss was pushing him hard. Whenever we did see each other, he seemed nervous. He could not look me in the eye for too long. I figured he was just stressed. I never imagined the truth. One evening, I came home from work earlier than usual. A meeting got canceled, so I decided to surprise Amanda with dinner. When I walked through the door, I heard her voice coming from our bedroom. She was on the phone, speaking in this soft, gentle tone I had never heard before. It was almost like she was talking to a lover. I stood in the hallway, frozen. When I stepped into the room, she immediately hung up. Her face went pale for just a second before she smiled and said she was talking to her mother. But her eyes did not meet mine. Something felt wrong, but I pushed the feeling away. 3 weeks later, my mother turned 60 years old. Our family organized a small birthday dinner at her favorite restaurant. Amanda, Derek, and a few of my mother's close friends all gathered to celebrate. It should have been a happy occasion, but I could not shake the strange feeling in my chest. Throughout the dinner, I noticed something peculiar. Amanda and Derek barely spoke to each other, which was unusual because they normally got along so well. But even though they avoided conversation, they kept ending up near each other. When the group moved to take photos, I saw Derek's hand brush against Amanda's lower back. It was subtle, almost invisible. But Amanda flinched and stepped away quickly. Too quickly. Like she was hiding something. I told myself I was being paranoid. This was my brother. This was my fiancé. They would never betray me like that. Over the next few weeks, Amanda kept avoiding intimacy. Every night she had an excuse. She had a headache. She was too tired. She had to wake up early for a meeting. At first, I understood. Wedding planning was stressful. But after 3 weeks of rejection, I started to feel like a stranger in my own relationship. One night around 2 in the morning, I woke up to the glow of Amanda's phone. She was sitting up in bed, typing a message, a small smile on her face. When she noticed I was awake, she quickly put the phone under her pillow. She said she could not sleep and was just browsing social media. But I saw her face. That was not the face of someone scrolling through random posts. That was the face of someone in love. A few days later, I found something that made my stomach turn. I was looking for my wallet and accidentally knocked over Amanda's purse. A folded piece of paper fell out. It was a receipt from a gynecology clinic dated 2 weeks prior. Amanda had never mentioned any doctor's appointment. I stared at that receipt for a long time. My hands were shaking. But I did not confront her. Not yet. I needed to know more. The next Thursday afternoon, Derek called me at my office. His voice sounded tense. He asked if I would be home that night. When I said yes, he just said okay and hung up. No explanation. No small talk. Just okay. That night, Amanda told me she was going out with some friends. She would be back late. After she left, I checked the location-sharing app on my phone. I had added Amanda years ago so we could find each other in emergencies. Her location showed she was at a coffee shop about 20 minutes from our apartment. I zoomed in on the map and felt my heart stop. Derek's car was parked right next to hers. I started keeping a record. Every time Amanda said she was going somewhere, I checked her location. Every time Derek said he was busy, I noted the date and time. Over 2 weeks, I found at least 5 instances where they were at the same location at the same time. Each time, neither of them had mentioned seeing the other. I could not carry this weight alone anymore. I called Marcus my best friend since college. We met at a bar, and I told him everything. The strange behavior, the receipt, the locations. Marcus listened without interrupting. When I finished, he took a long sip of his beer and looked me straight in the eyes. He said that sometimes the truth hurts, but living in a lie hurts more. He told me I needed to find out for certain before the wedding, because if I married Amanda without knowing the truth, I might spend the rest of my life living with a stranger. Marcus was right. I could not marry Amanda until I knew exactly what was going on. But I had to be smart about it. I could not just accuse my brother and my fiancé without proof. I needed evidence. The opportunity came on a Friday night. Amanda told me she had to travel overnight for a work event. A client wanted to meet early Saturday morning in Boulder, so she would stay at a hotel nearby. She kissed me goodbye and promised to text when she arrived. I told her I loved her. She said the same, but something in her eyes told me she was lying. After she left, I waited 30 minutes. Then I got in my car and drove to the hotel she mentioned. I circled the parking lot twice. Her car was nowhere to be found. My chest tightened. I knew where I had to go next. I drove to Derek's apartment building. It took me 25 minutes through the evening traffic. When I pulled into the parking lot, I saw Amanda's car parked in a guest spot near the entrance. For a moment, I could not breathe. Part of me had been hoping I was wrong. Part of me had been praying this was all a misunderstanding. But there was her car, undeniable proof that she had lied to me. I sat in my car for 2 hours. I did not know what to do. Every few minutes I would look up at Derek's window wondering what was happening inside. At 11 o'clock, the front door of the building opened. Amanda walked out first. She was smiling. Derek followed right behind her. They stopped just outside the entrance. Derek wrapped his arms around her in a long embrace. Then he leaned down and kissed her forehead. It was tender. It was intimate. It was everything I had feared. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run up there and destroy both of them. But something inside me said, no, not like this. If I confronted them now, they would just deny everything. They would twist the story. They would make me look like the crazy one. No, I needed to be smarter than that. I pulled out my phone and took photos from my car. The angle was not perfect, but you could clearly see Amanda and Derek together. That was enough for now. I drove home in silence, my mind racing with plans. The next morning, Amanda came home acting completely normal. She talked about her fake meeting, her fake hotel, her fake client. I listened and nodded, playing along. Inside, I was dying. But I had learned something important. If Amanda could lie so easily to my face, then I could be patient enough to expose her properly. That afternoon, while Amanda was at work, I remembered that she had an old tablet she rarely used anymore. She kept it in her nightstand drawer. I found it and turned it on. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might explode. When the screen lit up, I saw that she was still logged into her iMessage account. Years of messages right there in front of me. I scrolled until I found Derek's name. Then I started reading. The first message was from 8 months ago. 8 months. That meant they had started their affair right around the time Amanda and I got engaged. I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. I kept reading. The messages were explicit at times, romantic at others. But the worst part was not the affair itself. It was their plan. Amanda was pregnant, 2 months pregnant, and the baby was Derek's. They had discussed what to do. Amanda would still marry me. After the wedding, when the baby came, she would tell everyone the baby arrived early. A premature birth, nothing unusual. I would raise Derek's child, thinking it was my own. One message from Derek said that I would never know the baby was not mine. He said I was too trusting, too naive. He said it would be easy to fool me. Amanda's response destroyed whatever love I had left for her. She wrote that she felt bad sometimes, but that she loved Derek more than she had ever loved me. She said I was safe and stable, but Derek was exciting. Derek made her feel alive. They planned to wait about a year after my wedding. Then Amanda would find some excuse to divorce me. She would take half of everything in the settlement, and then she would finally marry Derek, the man she truly loved. I was nothing but a stepping stone in their plan. I screenshot every single message. I sent them all to my personal email. Then I logged out of the tablet and put it back exactly where I found it. I spent the next hour sitting alone in the dark thinking about what to do. The next morning, I called a lawyer. I explained my situation and asked about my options. The lawyer confirmed that the apartment we lived in was in my name only. Amanda had no legal claim to it. If I asked her to leave, she would have to go. That was the first piece of good news I had heard in weeks. Then I started planning my revenge. I would not just leave quietly. I would not let them get away with this. They had planned to humiliate me, to use me to steal my future. Now I would show them what happens when you betray someone who trusted you completely. I chose the perfect day. Amanda had scheduled her final wedding dress fitting for the following Saturday. She wanted to show the dress to close family and friends afterward. A small celebration before the big day. She had invited her parents, my mother, and several of our closest friends. I made sure Derek was invited too. I told him I wanted him there for this important moment. That Saturday, everyone gathered at the bridal boutique. Amanda looked beautiful in her white dress. She was glowing, completely unaware of what was about to happen. My mother was crying happy tears. Amanda's parents were beaming with pride. Derek stood in the corner trying to avoid my gaze. I waited until everyone was settled with champagne glasses in hand. Then I stood up and asked for everyone's attention. I said I had prepared a special slideshow to celebrate our upcoming wedding. Everyone smiled and raised their glasses. The first slide was a photo of Amanda and me from our engagement. The second was a picture from our first vacation together. People were nodding, smiling, enjoying the memories. Then the third slide appeared. It was a screenshot of a text message. Derek's name at the top. The message read that I would never find out the baby was not mine. The room went silent. I clicked to the next slide. More messages. Amanda saying she loved Derek more than she ever loved me. Plans to marry each other after my divorce. Details about the pregnancy. Screenshot after screenshot projected on the wall for everyone to see. Amanda dropped her champagne glass. It shattered on the floor. Her mother started sobbing. My mother's face turned to stone. Derek tried to run for the door, but Marcus and two other friends blocked his path. Amanda fell to her knees crying, begging me to stop. She said she could explain. She said it was not what it looked like. But everyone in that room had just read the truth in her own words. There was nothing left to explain. I looked at her one last time. I did not yell. I did not curse. I simply said that we were done. Then I turned around and walked out the door. The aftermath was swift and brutal. I canceled the wedding that same day. I gave Amanda 7 days to move out of my apartment. Her parents took her in, but they could barely look at her. Word spread quickly through our social circles. Within a month, Amanda's reputation in the design industry was ruined. No one wanted to work with someone who had done what she did. Derek's punishment was even worse. Someone at his company heard about the scandal. His boss called him in for a meeting. They said his actions reflected poor character and judgment. They terminated his employment that same week. Without a job and without any support from family, Derek eventually left Denver. Last I heard, he moved somewhere down south. I do not know exactly where. I do not care. My mother called me a few days after the incident. Her voice was heavy with sadness. She told me that as far as she was concerned, she only had one son now. Derek was dead to her. I told her she did not have to do that for me. She said she was not doing it for me. She was doing it because Derek had betrayed everything she raised him to be. The first few weeks after that day were the hardest of my life. I took 2 weeks off from work and drove up to my grandfather's old cabin in the mountains. It had been in our family for generations. The cabin was simple, just 1 bedroom, a small kitchen, and a fireplace. No television, no internet, just silence and nature. Those first nights I barely slept. I would lie awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of my relationship with Amanda. I kept asking myself what I had done wrong. Why was I not enough? Why did she choose Derek over me? But slowly, sitting alone in that cabin, I started to realize something important. I had done nothing wrong. I had loved Amanda with everything I had. I had trusted Derek completely. Their betrayal was not a reflection of my worth. It was a reflection of theirs. Marcus drove up to visit me during the second week. We went fishing at the lake nearby. We hiked through trails covered in pine needles and autumn leaves. We talked about life, about pain, about what it means to rebuild yourself from nothing. Marcus told me that the best revenge was not destruction. The best revenge was living well. I started a new routine. Every morning I woke up before sunrise and meditated on the cabin porch. I had never tried meditation before, but something about the stillness of the mountains made it feel right. Every evening I wrote in a journal. I wrote about my anger, my sadness, my fears. I wrote about the future I wanted to build. Slowly, the poison started leaving my system. When I returned to Denver, I threw myself into my work. I volunteered for extra projects. I stayed late at the office. I did everything I could to fill the empty spaces Amanda had left behind. Within 6 months, my dedication paid off. I was promoted to project manager overseeing construction on a new commercial development downtown. I also started taking better care of my body. I joined a gym and worked out 4 times a week. I signed up for a weekend hiking group that explored trails throughout Colorado. Physical exhaustion became my therapy. Every mile I hiked, every weight I lifted, I felt myself getting stronger. About a year after the wedding that never happened, I heard news about Amanda and Derek. A mutual friend told me they had broken up. Amanda had given birth to the baby alone. Derek refused to be involved. He denied paternity and disappeared from her life completely. Amanda was left as a single mother abandoned by the man she had betrayed me for. When I heard this, I waited for some feeling of satisfaction, but it never came. I did not feel happy or vindicated. I just felt nothing. They had become strangers to me. Their lives no longer had any power over mine. Around that same time, I met Sarah at a hiking group event. She was a veterinarian with a passion for outdoor adventures. We started talking on the trail and did not stop until we reached the summit. There was something genuine about her. She laughed easily, spoke honestly, and never tried to be anyone other than herself. We started spending more time together. Coffee after hikes, dinner on weeknights, long phone conversations about everything and nothing. I told her about Amanda and Derek. I told her about the betrayal and the pain. She listened without judgment and then shared her own story of heartbreak from years ago. I was careful this time. I did not rush into anything. I did not put Sarah on a pedestal or expect her to heal my wounds. I had learned that healing was my responsibility alone. But I also learned that opening your heart again even after it has been shattered is one of the bravest things a person can do. Looking back on everything now, I understand something I could not see before. Amanda and Derek did not destroy my life. They destroyed the life I thought I wanted, and in doing so they forced me to build something better. I'm stronger now than I ever was before. I'm more careful about who I trust, but I have not become bitter or closed off. I still believe in love. I just understand it better. The greatest lesson I learned is this: when someone shows you who they really are, believe them. Do not make excuses. Do not hope they will change. Accept the truth and act accordingly. The people who truly love you will never make you question their loyalty. The people who betray you were never worthy of your trust in the first place. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It does not mean welcoming someone back into your life. Forgiveness means releasing the anger that keeps you chained to the past. I have forgiven Amanda and Derek. Not for them, but for myself. Holding on to hatred is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. I refuse to let them have that power over me anymore. I still think about that cabin in the mountains sometimes. I think about those quiet mornings watching the sunrise over the peaks. I think about how broken I felt and how far I have come since then. Life is not about avoiding pain. Pain is inevitable. Life is about what you do after the pain. It is about the person you become. Some people come into your life to teach you what love is not. And sometimes that lesson is the greatest gift they could ever give you. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a betrayal that changed your life? How did you find the strength to move forward? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might help someone else who is going through something similar. If this story touched your heart or made you think, please hit that like button. It helps more people discover these stories. And if you have not already, please subscribe to this channel and share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I appreciate every single one of you. Remember, no matter what you are going through right now, you have the strength to overcome it. Stay strong, stay true to yourself, and never let anyone make you forget your worth.